Hi, everyone. It's Tuesday, March 15th, the week leading up to St. Patty's Day. And I'm so excited because initially we were doing some reruns, some previews or reviews of old Tell All Tuesday. But I'm so grateful that Wendy Litner is with me. And I want to tell you a little bit about her before she starts talking. So Wendy has an amazing blog called Sad in the City, and I know for me, when I was going through my journey, I was sad in the country. So Wendy is a lawyer turned writer who elevates anxiety to an art form. I think we're all sisters in that, especially if you're dealing with infertility. And you can check out her writing on the Huffington Post, XO Jane, Today's Parent, and more. And she has a great blog called Sad in the City. As an infertility sufferer, she is currently challenging her experience into a web series and would love to share her trailer. And we're going to have more information on that. But it's on YouTube, and it's titled How to Buy a Baby. So welcome, Wendy, to our Tell All Tuesday today about those emotions.
I'm so happy to be here. That's the loveliest introduction. I hope I can help you.
I'm sorry, everybody's all at once. Everybody's talking to us, and trying to talk to you. So it's a good thing. I'll just let them all come in, and then we'll include those in our conversation.
Okay, great.
Wendy, you and I were connected, I think either through Facebook or Twitter, and I watched your video, and then you and I connected by phone, and we were talking about your experience. So why don't you share with everybody, how you made that transition, and why did you make the transition from lawyering to blogging and writing, and now this amazing, so perfectly shared with comic relief video. So share.
Thank you so much. So I was a lawyer in private practice for a couple of years, and I've just always dreamed of being a writer. It's just what I've always wanted to do. It's always where my heart was. And I just came to a point in my life where I felt like I'd rather fail as a writer than succeed as a lawyer. And so I just decided to make the transition, and it hasn't been quite as romantic as I thought it would be. I imagined myself in much fancier coffee shops with lots of scarves, and that hasn't exactly been the case. It's been quite difficult. It's funny when the dream smashes with reality, but I love it. I love being able to connect with other people and being able to meet people like you and just other people who are just so passionate about what they do.
Yeah, so it's so amazing, when people start taking that leap of faith to live your passion, right? Because it was a true leap of faith, and how similar that is when you're knee deep within your fertility journey about taking that leap, feeling that fear, but then taking the leap to follow your heart, right?
Yes.
And so when I coach people, men and women, starting out in writing, there is a gap from what you think it is to be a writer to really how it is to be a writer. And, and you pour your heart and soul into these words and make this creation, you give birth to this book. And you think at the end, when you write the end, it's the end, but it isn't.
Not.
Part of being an author or a writer is really bringing in all those other skills of, selling your book and selling yourself and, getting that out there. And I think it's so appropriate to talk about that because it's similar, I feel, as if you're birthing anything, if you're birthing a book or birthing a baby, it's the same process. You don't know what you don't know. Basically,
right. You don't know, absolutely. And there's a huge sense of vulnerability too that I'm still getting used to, even when I'm writing fiction. Like this web series is obviously based on my life, but this idea that you're very exposed and that you're sort of telling stories that come from you. And so, and now with the internet, people can widely comment. So just this idea of being exposed, and also, my husband has been so supportive and wonderful in letting me tell our story, and it really is our story. And so I try and remember that as well, that there's another person involved here and his story is being told too, and he's trusting that to me, which adds an extra element of fun.
Right. Well, there's such an honoring of that, honoring of, you are in control of your own story. You can change your story no matter where you are in it. And sometimes if you overlay that with fertility challenges or a diagnosis of fertility, you forget that. You forget you have choices because you feel stuck, or you feel, when us writers call it writer blocked, you're looking at the paper going, but you know what? It's really a creative block. It's really of taking something that's so intangible and so personal as your experience, and then putting that out there. I have to tell you, I laughed so hard the other day. My kids I wrote something, or it was a video. It was one of my Tell All Tuesday. And I got feedback on one of it, and it was, "Shut up, Granny. Just shut up."
Oh no! Oh, that's terrible.
I
died
laughing, and I actually posted it. I was like, "Oh my God, that was the funniest thing to me," because just like you said,
you have to laugh at it.
You're putting yourself out there because you're passionate, because you're experiencing your personal story and your husband's experiencing his personal story, and you're taking that step, that leap of faith, which is so honorable. And then you have people out there sitting in judgment, right? So
yes, definitely with infertility. I've written some pieces for the Huffington Post about my struggles with infertility and sort of the grief around that. And a lot of the response is from people that are just, there seems to be just a lack of empathy, just that are very much like, well, just adopt. What's the problem? Like, clearly God didn't mean this for you, and just accept it and move on. And so there is a lot of pushback with that there definitely are comments like that. I haven't been called Granny yet, but it could happen.
No, baby, you're too cute and perky and young.
Oh no,
Granny.
It could happen. I'm waiting.
My son was a little offended by it, but that just made my day, because I was like, God bless you. You took this time out of your day to compliment me.
That people take their time out to write such nasty things and such long, nasty things.
So going back to that comment about, why don't you adopt? I talk about this a lot in my workshops, but also within my coaching, is that the lack of awareness, a lack of just empathy, maybe that's what it is about this situation. You and I talked personally, I had my little old aunt, my great aunt, who basically said that to me, hey, why don't you just, get over it? You're not going to have a baby, just move on. And to me, I always had at the ready a script.
This is why you're my fertility fairy godmother, because you have scripts at the ready.
I love you. You're so cute. Yeah, I'm your fertility godmother.
Go on.
So when someone said that to me, and I'm going back to your post that you got on Huffington Post, why don't you just adopt? I wasn't very gracious, and I wasn't proud of my response in real time.
I'm proud of that.
Which was, have you ever thought of maybe getting a no job? Because
I love that.
Yes. The same way.
Oh, I love that.
You just made me feel that, how that hurt. You just made me feel that. And then afterwards, with some self-reflection, I was like, well, you really came out of your integrity, because you're not someone who would go to someone's site and say, hey, Granny, shut up, or talk like that to somebody. So I think it's really important when you're in your situation, and when I was in that situation, to have something that you can have at the ready and say back, which was, I used to say, I have a whole team of experts working on that.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful. And you know what? That goes so well too for people who really have the best of intentions. I feel like people want to help and they want to solve your problem. And so they, send you articles about things and links to infertility, and they really are well-meaning and their heart is in the right place. But when it's coming at you from so many people in so many places, it's a bit overwhelming and you almost feel judged that you're making the wrong lifestyle choices. So I love that idea. And that's what I keep thinking in my head is I have a team of doctors working on this, so don't worry.
And then I used to say, babies come when babies come.
Oh, I like that too.
And for me,
what if they don't come, Kristen?
I promise you, honey, I promise, beginning, middle, and end. And I promise that you'll come to the other side. You really will. And what ended up happening with me, Wendy, was this. I was so hell-bent on being pregnant. I was so hell-bent, just get out of my way. I was anxiety-ridden, crazy. I went from this girl, that we talked about. I went from having my own business, from, being the president of the chamber, to owning her own house and being single, to doing all these things, to not having a baby. And it was one moment that I was like, what is it? It's, I want to be a mom, right?
Right. And that, yeah, sorry, I interrupted.
No, and it's that process that you have to allow yourself to feel. Is the goal is to be a mom, then if the baby comes to you or through you, you know what? You're a mom. I have to tell you a story of a friend of mine.
I completely believe that, and I've really accepted that. Like, I've let go of, I can live with not being pregnant. I think I could find a way to make peace with that, but I don't know how to make peace with the idea that I may never get to be a mother. So yeah, I appreciate that sentiment so much.
Well, that's the process, and that's those feelings you have to move through, because the first year into my journey, I wasn't ready to give that up.
Right.
And it wasn't until the surgeries and the procedures and the ectopic pregnancy that I said, "Oh, time out here.
Right.
What is my heart's desire? What do I truly want?" And I truly wanted to be a mom. For me, not having a child in my life, either biologically or to me, wasn't an option. And I think there's a process you go through to find what is for you, right? And it's allowing yourself that process. And so,
that's so good. Thank you. And to think of it as a process and not, I love that. Thank you so much.
Well, I'll share a story with everybody about a friend of mine, and she's about my age, and her son is as old as my daughter. My daughter's turning 13, and she had recurring pregnancy losses, and she was like, I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. And her husband was the one who was like, no, we need to keep going. We need to think of an adoption. And she ended up going to Russia and adopted her son.
Oh.
And she came home, and it wasn't to a friend of hers when she was home from Russia. Now the baby was almost a year old, that her friend said to her, "Oh my God, he was born on your due date."
Oh, wow. Oh, that's so incredible. Oh, so, I love stories like those.
So it was as if that I firmly believe that we have these little spirit soul babies around us. And
I love that. That's beautiful.
And that they're waiting to move into your family, just like you're waiting for them to move into your house.
And that's so precious. I love that so much. Thank you.
And that,
thank you. And
and if you look at it that way, it's about giving and receiving, that it's a two-way thing going on here. So it's not just your willing that child to come to you, that there's like this angelic field waiting to provide the opening. And so I tell you that story because of the question. You're like, will it? I know that when that part of you and the part of it divinely aligns. And my friend says, I went to I went to Russia to give birth and come home with my baby.
Right.
You know, you can't make that up. You can't make that up. So
that's so helpful. Thank you. It also helps to have projects on the go, like this web series and things like that, and to have like an outlet for some of your creativity and feel like there's other things that you're focusing on. I find infertility can be so all consuming that it's been quite a relief to get to work on other things like this. I have these two wonderful producers, Priscilla Galvez and Tanya Hoshi, who have just been, I just found like this community of women that are just incredible in getting to meet you. So I feel like I do have to remember to show that kind of grace that you're talking about when I think about, you know, those blessings that I do have.
Well, honey, your grace shines through your video. Because after you and I had a conversation and I watched the video again and laughed out loud, I hear your voice. I hear your sense of humor. I hear your grace within how that couple responds. And I had my staff and I, you know, we were all watching it and we laughed out loud. And you know what?
Yeah.
You need that. You need that during these, you know, heightened emotional times. So I'm in awe of you. I'm in awe of you that you took your story and wrote it, and it's that offering for people. So congratulations.
Thank you. I hope people would check it out on YouTube or check us out at How to Buy a Baby on Twitter. But I wanted to thank you. I feel like in this, like through the years of coping with infertility, I feel like very few people have been able to give me really tangible things to do. And I feel like in speaking with you, you gave me some really tangible coping mechanisms. And you gave me this wonderful advice that my husband and I should share something we love about each other every day. And I haven't taped it just because I hate the way I look on camera. But
oh my gosh, you're the cutest button. Stop that.
But if I looked like you, I would tape it for sure. But we've been writing it to each other, and just you've been the first person to really give me something to actually do that's tangible, that to focus on a relationship. And that's also, you know, the idea of putting your energy and your heart and things into things other than Googling symptoms during the 2-week wait, which has been really just powerful, wonderful. So thank you so much for that advice. Why I think you need a magic wand.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. So let me just key in everybody who's watching. So you and I had this amazing conversation, and we were talking about that 2-week wait. And, you know, in your bio, you talk about bringing anxiety to an art form. That was me. You and I could be the poster children for that, you know. And, you know, I talked to you a little bit about, wow, you know, if I could have a mulligan, a do-over, it would really have been to change the feeling around that time, because, you know, these 2 weeks are the last time that it would be a family of two. And how about focusing on complimenting each other? And, you know, it's such loving kindness. You know, words are so powerful, as you know, now as a writer and a screenplay writer and a producer of these amazing videos. Your words have so much power of energy behind it. And not only our words that we say, but the words we say in our mind. So you know what?
I'm not thinking about that. That's a really good point. So, how can you hear me in my head, Kristen?
I can see it going right across while we're talking.
Oh my goodness, you can hear it. Are they that loud?
No, because you know what? I had those same thoughts. And so many beautiful, brave women before you and in between us have had similar thoughts. And it's what we talked about at the beginning, you know, sad in the city. Don't be alone in the city, because there's so many, or the country, because there's so many of us having this journey, and we need that sisterhood. We need those, our circles.
We really do. We need our circles. And I was hoping also, that's also why I wanted to sort of do a series on this, is that I want people to be talking about it more. I hope we can all share our stories and be there for each other during what's a really trying life experience. And especially in this child-centric Facebook world where all you see are just pictures of people's adorable children, it's easy to start thinking you're the only one that's struggling and going through this. And just speaking to you and just knowing that there's other women out there that are going through this, and to try and make this sorority of women is really powerful.
So thank you so much for sharing that. And so they can find it through your Twitter page or on YouTube. You know,
yes.
Okay. Why did you share? Because we had a hard time. We had a little difficult time with our lower thirds because it would have been up. But
yeah. So the YouTube link, it's tough to say aloud, but if you just Google on YouTube how to buy a baby, it should come up. If you go to @howtobuybaby on Twitter, it's in the profile, and on Instagram as well. There's a link in the profile as well. And on Facebook, if you want to like us on Facebook too, you can do all those things.
All those things to stay connected, because I can't wait for the next one.
We can't bring you.
I can't wait. So what is there a timeline when they're?
Well, we're applying for funding right now. So every view and like helps, and we're really trying to show the funders that infertility stories matter, and that these need to be told and need to be out there. So if people could like and share and comment and subscribe, that all helps. So thank you so much.
Well, you're amazing, and you're such a light in this world. So thank you so much for being here. And
thank you for being my fertility godmother.
Oh,
thank you.
I love that name now. I'm going to have to adopt that.
I'm going to get it engraved for you.
Okay. God bless you, honey. I'm going to promote, and I can't wait to see the next video.
Oh, thank you so much. We can't wait to share it.
Okay. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, hon.
Thank you. Bye.